Welcome to the Simplify Your Life podcast, where we talk about how to create a life you won't need an escape from. I'm Coach Simone, author of the book 111 Ways to Simplify Your Life, and I'm glad you decided to tune in. In today's podcast episode, we're going to talk about allophobia, and I'm going to share with you 3 helpful tips on how to overcome it. Let's start by answering the question, what is allophobia? Allophobia is a type of anxiety disorder characterized by having a fear of imperfection or fear of not being good enough. When a person suffers from allophobia, they're prone to seeing the negative side of a situation first, and they consider making mistakes unacceptable. If you have allophobia, you may constantly worry about your ability to meet your own standards and the standards of others. This fear can lead to lack of self-confidence and self-esteem, making it difficult to pursue goals or even interact with others. Now that we know what allophobia really is, let's get into the second question. Where does allophobia come from? Allophobia often comes from past experiences, such as being constantly criticized by others or experiencing severe psychological trauma growing up, for example, being punished for doing something imperfectly. This can include experiences in childhood, such as being bullied or constantly criticized by parents or teachers, or negative experiences in adulthood, such as being fired from a job or going through a difficult breakup. Another potential cause of allophobia is societal pressure to succeed and achieve. We're often told that success is measured by our achievements, which can lead to a constant feeling of inadequacy. Another important thing to note here is that setting impossible standards for yourself perpetuates the cycle of allophobia. This can include having unrealistic expectations of yourself or comparing yourself to others who are more successful than you. Another thing that's typical for allophobia is trying to avoid making mistakes and not being ready to release projects because you think they're never good enough. Allophobia makes you feel afraid of your own flaws. And sometimes you can't take any risks because you're too worried that no matter what, you're gonna end up failing. And you tend to see things in a negative light. What's interesting to note here is that allophobia doesn't just show up in your mind. It affects your body as well. You may experience headaches, stomach aches, dry mouth, excessive sweating, indecisiveness, restlessness, etc. Now let's get into the third important question. Why are we so afraid of making mistakes? The short answer is because of the consequences. A mistake could mean losing your job, getting humiliated, or being rejected by someone you love. When you're afraid of making mistakes, it is easy to keep yourself small and feel afraid to make progress in any area of your life. Now, the thing that makes allophobia different from anxiety or perfectionism is that it's an actual phobia, which means there is an intense response from your body that signals that you're in imminent danger. As a recovering perfectionist and someone who is terrified of making mistakes, here's what worked for me. 1. Identify the core reason for being afraid of imperfection. We briefly touched upon this subject earlier in this episode, but I want you to do a little exercise with me. Go somewhere that you know you won't be disturbed for a few minutes, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and answer the following questions. 1. When I hear the word perfection, who is the first person that comes to my mind? 2. Have I experienced severe criticism in my family? 3. What will happen if I don't do things perfectly? 4. Does being a perfectionist make me a better person? 5. What does perfectionism give me? 6. What does it take away from me? After answering these questions, you're gonna gain more clarity on the why behind allophobia. Now let's get into my second tip. Do something imperfectly. Here's the thing. If you don't learn to do things imperfectly, you're going to stay in the perpetual cycle of allophobia, and we don't want that. So what can you do to lower your standards for yourself without feeling stressed out or overwhelmed? Here are a few examples of doing things imperfectly. Next time you find a tiny flaw somewhere, leave it like that. Or next time you fear that you're not good enough, go ahead and move into action anyway. I know how hard it may seem at the moment, so I want you to start small. For example, leave a typo in a blog post, a little stain on your shirt, etc. And when it comes to overcoming the fear of making mistakes, accept that we're all imperfect, and we all make them all the time. Things don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. We're all flawed. We've been through some trauma, and we're all doing the best that we can, and that is enough. So next time you're afraid of making mistakes, just remember that all you can do is consider the potential consequences, evaluate the pros and cons, and make a decision that has a high chance of leading you to a favorable outcome. The rest is simply not up to you, so let it go. My next tip is to push for progress, not perfection. This sentence completely changed my life. Fear of imperfection is rigid and revolves around control. Things have to go a certain way, look a certain way, behave in a certain way. Progress, on the other hand, is to be one step closer to achieving your goal. If you get stuck in perfectionism, remember this little mantra and move into action. The more you repeat it to yourself, the easier it will get to overcome adelephobia. Accepting tiny failures, doing things imperfectly, releasing projects before they reach that 100% perfection mark, and accepting that even if you make mistakes, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you. The only opinion that you should care about is the one you have of yourself. So your job here is to make sure to take consistent action towards your goals despite your fears, and being compassionate and kind to yourself when you make mistakes, by recognizing that they are just an inevitable part of life. And if you want to learn how to love and accept yourself for exactly who you are, check out the Self-Love Toolkit by visiting www.theselflovetoolkit.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, please like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.